Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to Rise Up After Dark. Today is Wednesday, January 7th. We're back for another episode where we DYOR, BYOB, let our hair down and talk a little about the industry with some of our expert friends and guests. And tonight we've got a great one. We are going to be joined by our friend and yours. I'm talking about William Quigley. He's the co-founder of Tether, the co-founder of Wax. He had a long career in Silicon Valley, raising money, helping other people raise money, building companies, and sharing ideas. And he's been very kind to share a lot of good ideas with us. So it's a good show. Let me know where you are tuning in from in the world, how you're doing, what you're drinking, what you're thinking. And Alex, Will, how you guys doing tonight? Feeling good?
Oh, doing swell, man. It's been one of those days where it's just been, just like productivity to the max, where it's just like as soon as I wake up, making videos on the show, having meetings, making videos.
How many videos did you make today?
I might have made 9 by accident.
By accident?
Yeah, because I meant to get to 3 other videos, but TikTok shadow banned me, and I was like, well, there's no point in making these today. And then I had other things to do, so I made a video on NVIDIA. I made a video on the Supreme Court ruling on Friday. I made a video on the government shutdown. I made a video on Morgan Stanley's Ethereum ETF. I made a video on the oil shipments out of Venezuela. I made a video on the Bitcoin chart update. I made a video on something else in the morning time. Let's say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I made 8 videos. Made one of the maybe I made 8 videos. I made 8. And I had 3, I meant to get to today, but it'll have to be tomorrow. Oh, I made like 2 other. Yeah, no, I think I made 9 because I made like 2 other videos on some of the things that Trump did today. Pretty sure I made 9 videos today.
Well, that's 9 more than I made today, but it's brings us to an average of 3 apiece. I'd say that's pretty healthy.
That's pretty great.
Good job, team.
Yeah. Woo.
Alex, how about you? How you doing with your
Good.
straw of rum and Coke?
Yeah, well, you know what? I've earned it. It's my 3rd show of the day, so that's always good. But it was good. It's really nice out. It got super warm again. We're just like ranging, dude, out here. It was really cold for a few days, and now it's like, almost beach sitting weather again today. But yeah, no, it's good. I'm excited. I feel like it's been a minute since. Have we not done Rise or After Dark in like 2 weeks?
I think that's about correct. We skipped it.
Yeah,
last week for New Year's Eve. What are you doing New Year's Eve? Nothing. Turns out, not the show. And then before that, we had I think we skipped it for Christmas Eve too, or at least I did, because that's the night I celebrate with my family. So it's been a minute since we've all been together. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Your questions are wanted. They're needed in the comments. If you're listening in the future, hello, we hope your candles are green. Leave your questions too. And don't forget, you can catch up with us where the show lives 24/7. I'm talking about community.rumshq.com. We've got all kinds of stuff there. The only thing missing is you. And I got to tell you one more thing before we bring in William Quigley. Every time you hear this sound, it means that someone on the panel has received a point for something they said, or maybe someone we are speaking about has received a point. At least 1 point, maybe more. If you hear this sound, ooh, no, it means that somebody has lost a point. And the way we play this game is that at the end of the night, if somebody reaches an arbitrary amount of points, to be determined, then we will give away a fabulous prize. And I'm thinking that probably we're a little behind on this too. Of course, thanks to our partners at Arculus, we are giving away Arculus wallets. And you can either get the plain Jane Arculus, black or silver. You can get the XRP branded Arculus for the XRP army out there. Or you can put your name on the waiting list for the soon to be released Rise Up co-branded purple wallet.
We're in the quarter now, and the design was submitted. So
the design was submitted. We're waiting on an approval for the proof. Then we go to production. We're doing just 100 units of this first edition. It is a big, beautiful wallet. Well, it's not big, but it is beautiful.
It's 6 times bigger than the average Arculus wallet. We specifically said that it needed to be the size of an iPad.
It's the tablet version of the Arculus wallet. Do you want to do a little? You want to see a little preview of it? You think it's fine?
Give away the goods?
I mean, you can't do it
you want
now.
to be surprised?
We gotta
am looking at a preview
first.
You just got to take my word for it that it's really cool. It is in fact purple.
Don't you dare.
And on my
It is in
screen,
fact purple.
it is bigger than a regular Arculus wallet. So somebody tonight is going to win an Arculus wallet. We're going to give one away to the general public, and we will give one away to a premium member of our community. If you want to accelerate your crypto learning journey, you got to get in a room full of people who are trying to learn crypto, who know a little more than you, have been using it longer, who are not going to sell you some crappy token, where you can ask your questions. And our equivalent of that, I've already mentioned, is the Rums community. community.rumshq.com. If you're interested in spending more time with us, I don't know why you'd want to do that, or the most dedicated members of our community getting exclusive content, then you can become a premium member. It's just a couple of bucks. You can sign up for a free premium trial, and I will count you an extra entry in this drawing. So I've talked enough. That's enough commercials. I think it's time. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the co-founder of Tether and Wax. He is an aspiring DJ. The question, of course, is will he play at Consensus? I don't know. We're going to have to ask him. Please welcome our friend William Quigley back to Rise Up After Dark. Welcome, William. Are you playing at Consensus this year?
Did you say, am I playing at Coachella this year? Is that that's what I thought I heard you say?
Sorry, I meant Coachella. No, but Consensus is in Miami, and there could be
Crypto's Coachella.
It could be the great opportunity to put that DJ
Coachella. That's scary.
Yeah, way dorkier.
Way more cringy.
Way more cringy. How you been since we seen you last?
I've been exactly the same because nothing has changed.
I can always count on you to tell the truth.
Just waking up every day, chasing bears out of your yard.
I take that to mean that you've been in cryo sleep until your next appearance on the show.
Yeah. Right. I hope we don't have to wait 3.5 more years, but we'll see.
Yeah, put me back in the tank. When you came on the show last, I was talking backstage about this. We asked you to join us in a little fun game of let's make some predictions about where we think Bitcoin could end up at the end of the year. And I was telling William that actually he did it best. The predictions that we gave were way too high. I said 138K. Will said 162K. Alex said 125K. Oh, excuse me. No. William, you said 125, 725. So actually, Alex, Price is Right rules make you technically the winner, even though we all lost. But somehow I don't.
When was that? Was like November?
This was I think it was late October, maybe right before Halloween, or maybe it was November right after Halloween.
Wow.
No, it was October. It was October, and things. It was before 1010, actually.
It was before. I was about to say it was before 1010. It was well before 1010.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I would love to get your reaction to that. I mean, I'm sure you're fine. You take care of your stuff, and you're probably not out there playing with 20x leverage on Hyperliquid, I would imagine. But
101x leverage is his minimum.
101.
I tell you guys all the time, right? The most toxic part of whether it's stock investing or crypto is leverage. I think if you're a serious investor, you probably don't want to use leverage. If you're just a gambler, I guess, right? But we could talk a lot about how corrupt the exchanges are, and they will change the rules of how much collateral you need applied against your loans. They will change those rules instantly while you're asleep, and then you're liquidated. And the rules that the exchanges go by, they would never fly in traditional financial regulated markets. So I think you use a lot of leverage at your peril in crypto.
Yeah, and the rules, they do change a lot. And we were talking about that backstage too, about policy and the passage of bills and the reevaluation of what's happened. And I'd be curious, there's another, maybe before we get into that crypto story, that I don't know if you have a take on this, but has certainly caught a lot of attention on crypto Twitter. A lot of our colleagues have been talking about it. Have you paid attention at all to the conflict of governance in Aave DAO?
I have not.
So, well, then I won't belabor it too much. It's way too deep. It's a very good example. Aave is a DAO, but it's also a product developed by Aave Labs, sometimes called Avara. And there was a conflict because Avara, which did the development of the front end, diverted some payments to itself that members of the DAO thought were going to go to the treasury. And the DAO says that was our money. Avara says, well, wait a second, that's our front end. We built that. You had nothing to do with it. That's our money. And it's been a very civil but a very heated disagreement. They had some discussion on Twitter. They proposed a vote, and it was during Christmas. I think it closed on Christmas or maybe Christmas Eve. And most of the members of the DAO who showed up to vote voted to abstain to signal like, hey, this process is rushed. It matters to us, but we need to take more time. And it's been the subject of much debate. And Aave is probably the best example of a sufficiently robust and maybe sufficiently decentralized as far as the DAO goes protocol in our nascent space. So a lot of people are asking, what does this mean for the rest of us? You know what I mean? If Aave, Avara, and Aave DAO are still struggling to find meaningful governance, then is there any hope? Is it all just an illusion?
No.
Flip the switch.
There's no hope.
Say more?
No.
Oh, no, there's no hope. I thought you were going to say no.
And that's the show. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, everybody.
No. These things are silly. They were dumb to begin with. Just dumb. You know, the history of DAOs is, it was so bizarre to me. I want you to think of back in the 90s, the first time I heard of DAOs, they were used, it was exclusively being used by groups of people who were trying to do some sort of cyber crime. Okay. And somebody would release a piece of software. It would be, distributed software living on many, many machines, and you would feed it something, stolen credit cards or something, and it would give you something back. It was controlled by nobody because the software was released and never updated. So that's how it worked. So DAOs were like this nefarious, dark thing. And then, I don't know when it was, 2016, 17, 18. I don't know. Maybe 2020, all these buffoons in crypto land started to talk about DAOs like first of all, it was strange to me because their origin is dark. The exact opposite of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's origin is pure, and yet it was demonized very quickly by the banking lobby, right? And governments. Mm-hmm. Here, DAOs were really dark, and they were introduced around the same time as the NFTs and whatnot. And people are like, DAOs are great. DAOs were the most nonsensical, just idiotic contraptions for people. Particularly, I'm talking about people who live in the United States. Okay. They're terribly risky to be involved with because they're like partnerships. And for your listeners, if you don't know much about partnerships, those are the most toxic organizations on earth, at least if you're a US citizen. In a partnership, you have all the liability personally, and you share joint and severally anything bad that happens. If no one else can pay for the bad act, but you're one party in that partnership, 100% of the bad stuff could be directed at you. So partnerships are deadly. DAOs to me felt a lot like partnerships. And it turned out they kind of got treated that way. There have been a few examples where people have been sued who were identifiable members of a DAO. And they really, in the US, they're going to be treated as though they were members of a partnership, which is, as I said, a very bad thing. So DAOs have no value whatsoever in my mind. And then you get to what you guys are talking about. Let's say the structure did protect you in some way. It doesn't, but let's say it did. How do you govern like that? It's nonsense.
That's the
Trying
part
to
that
run a business with a group vote. It's just dumb.
Well, not even just a group vote, but a group vote largely made by people who are uninformed or not informed, like in a consistent manner. Like I've always thought that theoretically, the idea was cool. You know, like democratize governance of a protocol with the people who depend on it to make whatever its purpose is function. I get it from a 30,000 foot view, the bumper sticker. I've always thought that was cool. I constantly say that DAOs are like really bad execution of a cool idea consistently, but I've always struggled with the idea that we immediately put the burden of governance of this entire thing, in some cases it's massive, in the hands of nameless people who, in theory, have something to lose. In theory, they are significant token holders like of this thing, and they wouldn't want to vote against their own interest. But like, it's hard to vote in your own interest when you don't really understand the whole thing, because it's so nuanced and complicated. And we skipped the part where we like had to learn about what governance is, what it's supposed to be, and how all these different models work. We just went straight to everybody go vote and do your best and Godspead.
And you know what?
I just thought
we
that was
also
so weird.
tried that in New York City, and look what we got there. So yeah, it turns out just because you own something, you pay something to have a right to vote, doesn't mean that kind of governance model is going to work, because it's very theoretical to say, well, it's in everyone's interest since they all, one token, one vote. But it's nonsense. It doesn't work. In the same way, any corporation couldn't be run that way. And what I've seen throughout my 30 years of being involved with the internet is that anything that can be gamed will get gamed. And it happens in video games, and it's going to happen with these tokens and these DAOs. I think I'll predict this time next year, there will not have been a DAO that has popped up where we're all like, wow, that's the most amazing structure we've ever seen.
I'll take that prediction.
I'll go on Polymarket and I'll make that bet. I don't think anyone will take the opposing side of that bet, unfortunately.
We haven't had a DAO pop up that people got excited about since like 2020, so I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Yes.
Like no one's excited.
I didn't even
DAO.
know people got excited about DAOs unless they were really niche. But I would ask you this. I would push back a little to say, okay, a partnership, that is a really good analogy. But what if we did something different with it? What if it was not a tool to scale business? What if we used, because you're the guy who, the reason I was like, I got to talk to that guy was I heard you talk about in the most cogent way. Everybody around here was like, oh, number go up. And you were like, no, tokens are this infinitely programmable tool. And really, for somebody maybe in a video game, in a community or in a subculture, especially a subculture that has scaled beyond maybe 150 people, a village-sized group, then couldn't we potentially benefit from having some tamper-proof, democratic, programmable way that words don't give us, that other existing tools, money, don't quite give us, that a token with its flexibility and form could maybe fulfill to help us have a say in things that matter or get information from people who have a stake in a thing?
I think what Alex said it prevails. You can't have that kind of control and responsibility without having an equal amount of knowledge about how the thing works. And that's the problem. There's the reason why Republican forms of government evolved, because the crowd makes terrible decisions. So, smaller groups of people who convince people that they're going to stay informed it's flawed, but it's better.
I think we're not doing the amount of work that would be needed to make a decentralized governance system function. And you could theoretically do it, but we're not.
Yeah, if you look at like Bitcoin, so that was clearly a system, but it's in a way it's kind of like a DAO in the sense that you, at least back in the day, if you controlled the mining, you could determine what updates to the protocol took place. But the reality is no one who owns Bitcoin really does any of that. It's a small group of miners who are very deeply embedded in it and rely on it, and I think that system works pretty good. But yeah,
Well,
I'm
that's
just
another
not
example
one of those.
where even they are outgrowing the ability. There are some core developers in the Bitcoin protocol who some folks would say have an outsized amount of influence and are
That's
pushing
true.
through changes that members of the network are not all in favor of.
Yes.
And I think one of the greatest threats to Bitcoin specifically is exactly what's happening with this DAO, but on a magnitudinous scale. If they can't make up their minds,
Good
build
word.
consensus around, thank you, a change, I'll give myself a, then what happens when it's time to upgrade the protocol, like for, quantum resistant cryptography or whatever? Will we be
Yeah.
able to align around something?
Well, and to your point, look at what the knee-jerk reaction
I would hope
to that vote situation with Aave was. It was the DAO putting forth a different proposal to seize full control of all IP and all assets and all everything from Aave Labs, like the entire thing, which is just an insane proposal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
And it's
piracy.
What are we really doing here? Like,
Yeah.
could we
It just become like an emotional spat. But
just like be reasonable,
Yeah. For me,
And then
the
what-
issue with that. Go
What
ahead.
does
Rock,
that?
paper, scissors.
Yeah. Then it's like, and what does the DAO do? I don't know what it does, but I'm going to guess it doesn't do shit. That's the other thing. It's like all this effort, and it's like, and what are you actually doing? Why does it matter? It probably isn't. DAOs will not be a thing that are sort of an offspring of Bitcoin that persists. I'm pretty sure of that. And by the way, for Bitcoin, I'd like them to do nothing to Bitcoin. I think idle hands, they get bored, and they're like, what else can we fiddle here? I just the Bitcoin blockchain is never going to be a payment system. I've said this since I first understood it, right? Since once I figured out what it was, I was like, oh, this is the worst payment system ever devised by man. This is not going to be a payment system, which is fine. It's a great way to hold value, although there's a lot of volatility in that value, but you can hold it extrajudicially. It's very hard for somebody to take your Bitcoin away from you if you hold it. It's very easy to lose it, but it's very hard for people to take it. And I like that aspect of it. I don't need it to do anything else. Remember when a few years ago, some of the developers, the core developers, decided they wanted to have, I forget what they were called, but they were Bitcoin NFTs, ordinals.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
ordinals.
ordinals.
What
And that's
I mean,
in part what's contributing to this conflict, I think, too, is the block space. What should it
yeah, of all the stupid things to put on a blockchain like Bitcoin, like there's a million blockchains that would have been fine to do it on. Don't put it on. That to me was that was just one of those grifts.
Yeah, but did you see that the frog was wearing shorts?
See,
Well, then,
That's
what's your
okay.
thoughts
Case in
on quantum resistance? Then do you not want Bitcoin to change at all?
No, I think it
that as well,
should.
or do you think that?
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to see how far that I don't want Bitcoin to change stance.
right.
good
So
question.
if you're like, hey, we see that there's this potential threat to it coming down the pike. Yeah, let's invest in something to preserve it. That to me, that makes sense. And I think there's a lot of great ideas. So I'm confident that that's going to happen. But I don't believe that we need a lot of fiddling around with it.
Agreed.
I think I had made this point to you guys, maybe it was a couple of years ago, that, wow, going into the fourth happening in April 2024, it was noteworthy to me that there had been nothing significant, no significant development that had risen above just the little workshop level in crypto since the last halving in 2020. And I wondered if that portended a potentially like a subdued post halving rally, which of course I was hoping it wouldn't, but it looks like that's what happened. They're really, if we look at the pace and the amount of innovation around Bitcoin, around crypto in general, it's pretty bleak, right? In the last couple of years, there's not been, to me, the kind of, it wasn't even it didn't even register on a high level, but it was like what Eigenlayer did was kind of cool, restaking stake tokens, but I wouldn't call that a giant contribution to the body of blockchain work.
It turned out to be less of a big deal than it sounded like at first.
Yeah,
it did, didn't it?
The energy of the space, what I mean by that is like what really grabs attention changed. Like in 2017, it was like Ethereum hit the scene. It was like, oh, altcoins, we can do all this stuff. We can blah, 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 right? We can decentralize everything. And then you had DeFi summer in the next bull market. And it was an explosion of DeFi and all this great innovation. And it was amazing, a beautiful thing. And then this cycle, it was pump.fun. And everything, and the energy of the industry went towards the meme coin casino. And, like the things that really blew up outside of that was Polymarket.
Right.
Gamblefy, and then hell, at least Courtyard did great. From like the Pokemon card TCG kind of standpoint. And then outside of that, it was just very quietly payment system processing.
I was going to say
like financial institutions,
and
but like
stable coins.
But the energy
Stable
of the
coins.
space was in Pump.Fun, Meme Coin, and Gamblefy, and that was and is a severely cannibalistic type of a beast.
Which is funny because DeFi protocols have never made more revenue than they're making now.
Correct, but they weren't new. They weren't the sexy thing,
That's
all about
exactly
energy.
right. Yeah. I think we can't also underestimate just the effect of Wall Street being able to influence the price because of ETFs, right? Which they lever and then sell into every rally, right? They're just always selling into every single rally. So it's very hard for Bitcoin to do what it used to do. And then you have to look at a lot of attention has shifted to AI, right?
Yeah.
And that got people excited. I think the meme coin stuff could have been fun, but that became a big grift as things typically do in crypto. And my own sense is like a lot of people got burned with like paying stupidly high prices on NFTs and metaverse, whatever. And then they got really burned by lending their freaking crypto to crooks. And then a couple of years go by and then they tip their toe in the water with meme coins, and then meme coins turn out to be rug pulls. And I think this is why in 2025, retail just didn't participate in crypto. And now, they're in the whatever you want to call them, prediction markets. And I will tell anyone who's does stuff on those prediction markets, those are just as rigged and just as scammy as crypto, man, if not more so.
Yeah, but did you see the news about the Venezuela right before they kidnapped Maduro? Somebody put in like a $30,000 bet. They made like a 15x or something. I think there's I have a problem with the fact that every commercial is about gambling now. And like, kids commercials. But I also think it's really potentially interesting that you could be surfing. Like, do you want insider trading on a prediction market? Maybe.
Well, did you see also that Polymarket, what was it? They announced like a partnership or integration with the NASDAQ and like the official, like the trading floor and something. It's getting like more incorporated into Wall Street, which is, just
right
sign of the time, just where things are going.
Yeah. I think the prediction markets they're just like FanDuel, they're just another form of gambling where you have the same sort of shark minnow kind of problem. There'll be a lot more money going into prediction markets because the VCs always, they see stuff and go, oh, we should put a lot more money into lower grade entrepreneurs to go do stuff. So I think that thing will get shaken out as well. And people will realize, oh yeah, this is a scam too. You know,
Mhm.
it's
Oh, go ahead.
it's not a friendly market. I would tell most people, you know, except for things like, you know, political things, whatever stuff that you really know there's lots of information out there, but no one has the absolute knowledge in advance. Otherwise, I think you should avoid those.
I just think it's crazy to place a bet on a thing where someone who has a direct influence on the outcome of that thing has access to knowing that the bet was placed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I totally agree. I agree with that, but I also think that there's a lot of arbitrage opportunity. I haven't actually participated in them, but I have watched, and there's a lot of 15-minute time frames where it's very obvious that this thing is going to happen. Maybe it's a basketball game and there's a 20-point spread and there's a minute left, but there's still a 4% chance, you know, so you can make I don't know, if you bet that 96%, there's a 4-cent arbitrage on your dollar. So you could do that and pick up a couple of bucks, and you could do that. It's like scalp trading, but betting. It's weird. But
There are some bets. Yeah, there are some bets you can do to pick up nickels, dimes, whatever. There's some bets like that. But yeah, that I was happy that whoever that person was who placed that bet on Venezuela, I was happy they did that because it put a spotlight on the fact that this is a rigged game.
I mean, last year, the number one thing that sticks out in my head is I've never seen, well, actually, until today, such flagrant market manipulation from the upper echelon. Like, there's nothing hidden about it at all. You know, from the crowd that brought you the ultimate Pelosi hate. You know, not to say that insider trading doesn't deserve hatred, it does. But like when out of one side of your mouth, that's what you decry, and then the amount of just rammed in your face, public facing market manipulation was crazy. Not to, I mean, look at today. Today was a perfect example of that. Lockheed Martin stock dropped 7% on the news that that we were
not allowing defense contract companies to do stock buybacks or dividends and that executive payments, although it's not clear whether it's salary or total compensation, which is very important.
But it doesn't matter.
5 million. But it was the buyback and dividend. Then the stock for Lockheed Martin dropped 9%. And then I didn't see it until you tweeted, Alex, but continue.
Yeah, and then almost immediately reversed because literally 2 hours after he made the announcement that cratered that, which, by the way, for the record, you can't make a rule about stock buybacks and dividends. That's not how that works. So that was insane. But then 2 hours later was like, I'm going to pull $500 billion out of my ass and increase the military budget to $1.5 trillion, and the stock finished the day up. Insane.
Yeah.
The swing trade on that number, because someone knew about it, guaranteed. I'm sure tomorrow we'll read about which positions were open and who bought what, but like, it's right there. It's just published it on the internet. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
That's what sticks out in my head about last year was just like, I don't even feel like I can sit here and have an honest opinion. We said it on the show every single week.
Yeah.
Someone would show up me like, hey, what do you guys think about this network and that network? I'm like, I could tell you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. I wish it did, but it doesn't.
Well, at least in 2025, we had, you know, social media has a lot of negative elements to it, but putting a spotlight on things that the mainstream media refuses to cover, I really like. I like the fact that they have the Pelosi stock tracker. You know, I like.
What's crazy is she's not even top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you seen that?
Like, she sucked by comparison. She could have done a way better job stealing.
Did you see? You know, you guys know who Dan Crenshaw is?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if you saw where he hired. He had a law firm send I guess it's like a cease and desist. I know what you call it.
Yes.
To Sean Ryan, who's a very well-known podcaster, also a vet, saying, hey, I want you to retract what you said about me making 60% annualized returns over some number of years since I've gone into Congress. I thought, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, no, this guy can stipulate a fact. And, you know, he threatened him in a lot of different ways. But I'm glad, and I find it very hard to understand how any member of U.S. Congress could argue with the fact that insider trading rules should not apply to them.
Yeah.
To me, that's a wild thing. I'd
We
like
keep
to
leaving
see
shit
that.
like that up to them to make the rule. It's like they get to vote on their own salary increase, and they also get to vote on whether or not they can insider trade.
Yeah, it's really crazy. But putting, we
Good
are
system.
putting a lot of spotlight on it, and at some point, I think Congress will have to be like, yeah, you're right, we can't do that.
I would hope so.
I was looking for the dashboard, Alex, because someone asked who was number one, and I found a like net worth dashboard from QuiverQuant, and I found another like a bunch of listicles. But isn't there a dashboard that we track this on?
I thought there
Or
was.
somebody.
Maybe it's Capital Trades is what I'm thinking of. The question was asked, who is the number one trader? And I will tell you, at least by net worth at this very moment right now,
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi's in that number 5 spot, but
Yeah.
it looks like the top spot is
I'll know it when
Senate
you say
Rep
it.
James Justice of West Virginia, current net worth $664 million. Then
Never heard of
Jefferson
him.
Shreve, Indiana, Rick Scott, Daryl
Yeah,
Issa.
Rick Scott's up there.
But this is not necessarily how they've been like trading daily. Although look at this, Nancy Pelosi almost made a cool $1 million today.
Yeah,
Good
I mean,
for her,
here's
she
some
needs it.
here's some just astonishing figures about the whole thing. This was published by Common Cause at the beginning of December last year, and I'm trying to find out exactly what this is for the 119th Congress. Congress made, so this was for the year 2025, 13,324 trades totaling a whopping $635.57 million this year for 2025. And then the top 10 congressional traders, we've got a healthy blend of both sides of the aisle with Nancy coming in spot number 8. Under her was Cleo Fields and Jill, I don't know, some Democrat from California. And then moving up, Dave McCormick in 7, Daryl Issa, a Republican from California, Jefferson Shreve, Josh Gottheimer, Ro Khanna, a tremendous amount of trades in spot number 3.
Okay, Ro.
Volume, $44.25 million in volume.
Man's making moves.
Michael McCall in number 2, Republican from Texas, 75.52 million. And then in number 1, this is by volume, not necessarily by like who won the most, but these guys have way too much money. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat from Connecticut, 79.
Of course, it's Connecticut.
Million dollars.
Connecticut.
He knows a few neighbors who are in the financial services industry.
I would echo the thing. I can't believe this shit is still. It's been years. It's not a secret. We're all just like, yep. Someone should do something about it. Oh wait, we gave the keys to all of the cars to Congress, and wouldn't you know it, they're not ready to end the joyride.
Yeah. It's very hard to get most people, at least from the decades I've been following politics, it's very hard to get most people to get up in arms about this kind of stuff. For most people, I'm talking like middle class, working class people, their attitude is, oh, that's what all those rich people do. They just feel like, oh yeah, that's what they do. They steal. It's very hard for anybody to give a shit.
Yeah, when it's just seen as the way it is.
Yep.
That's the
way
prevailing
it is.
sentiment. I highlighted a comment earlier from friend of the show, Vish. Hey, brother, good to see you. That said, well, when you have corruption straight to the top of the food chain, zero chance of any kind of accountability or justice. You're going to do it privately, out in the open, regardless. I think that's the prevailing sentiment. Yeah, is people just feel like that's it's kind of the way it is.
Yeah. It's like whatever you say it, and people shrug their shoulders. So
yeah,
it'll
YOLO.
continue.
Anyway, on to the next thing.
Exactly. You mentioned earlier and backstage, William, you were talking about AI. That's been an exciting thing. It absolutely has been an exciting development, but I've seen a lot of different reports on this and would love your take. You said you and your friends are really concerned that a bubble is forming and that if and when it pops, it's going to have massive implications. So is it an if or when, or is it just a when, in your opinion? And what are the
and I
consequences?
guess I do try not to use buzzwords when I'm trying to understand something, because there's so much meaning from different people in them that it's hard to know if we're talking about the same thing, right? So
Sure.
Historically, the antidote against bubbles was labeling them bubbles. You know, if everybody's worried about a crash, you don't usually crash.
Yeah.
You see, you know, that's usually pretty reliable. So I don't think I'm not worried about all of these big companies one day just saying, fuck, it doesn't work. And those, $1 trillion of expected future spend that was all going to be imputed into the future earnings of these companies goes away. I think, but I do think 2026 will be a year where we start to more normalize the spending, because it's not a secret that we haven't seen the productivity boost that we were hoping to see. And to be fair, I remember throughout the 90s, it was a big topic then, but it's 25, 30 years ago. So most people watching this podcast weren't probably even born. But
I wasn't paying attention then anyway. Yeah.
Right. It was a very common discussion. Like every month, some noteworthy economist would say, we're spending, back then it was tens of billions, but now just call it trillions, on computers and automation, but we see no impact on productivity. And productivity defined as getting more than $1 worth of value from $1 worth of labor. You want to get $1.10, then $1.20, then $1.30. That's called productivity. And we didn't see it. And my functioning theory at the time, I was a VC. My theory was, well, let me look at all these companies that we're selling this software to. Most of them are trying to figure out how they're going to use it, but they believe it will be useful at some point. And then like 2010 or so, we started to see finally these massive gains in productivity. Well, I assume something like that will happen with AI at some point. Right now, I forget which consulting firm it was, but it was one of the bigger consulting firms. I think 100% of the companies they surveyed in the US, and they asked, are you spending a lot on AI? Yes. What is the obvious benefit to the organization? And I believe it was either high 90s or 100% said they couldn't measure any benefit just yet, which doesn't mean it won't happen, but it does mean you can't be spending $1 trillion a year, right? And one sort of canary in the coal mine I see, and I've seen this throughout eras where companies have imploded. It's when the CEO, the head of a company, they dismiss criticism about maybe their business model not working well. And it's one thing to say, like we all did in crypto, here's why we believe in this. You may disagree, but here's why we believe in it. It's another thing to just say, I'm going to dismiss your comment. And I see Sam Altman doing that. I've seen him do it more than once. When anyone asks about it, his response, and it's terrible. If I was coaching him on public speaking, I would be like, no more of this. What he does is he immediately says, well, look at my stock. And I've got great stock, and it keeps going up. And I've heard that from all the scammers throughout my career. That's one of the go-to statements I hear from scammers is they're like, well, look how high and fast my stock is going up. That's bullshit. And
it's interesting you say that, because of all of I try to use all of them, the flagship LLMs, and try to gauge, because we were saying for a while, one would make a significant improvement. They were kind of leapfrogging each other with some feature, some whatever.
Every week.
The one that is the most lackluster for me over the last 12 months has been every OpenAI product. Every single other one from Anthropic or from a number of other smaller ones have been outperforming that one for me based on like what I do. I'm an anecdote, obviously, but that's been my experience, interestingly enough.
I must say, I really can't, I can't judge. I can't tell. Maybe you use it more than I do. I can't tell.
Constantly.
But I don't like when I get cock blocked. That pisses me off. Any medical question and it immediately goes to, oh, we can't answer that. Like, that's not useful for me, dude. So and
I've run into that with veterinarian like related questions about like really simple shit like related to dogs that I would normally like have to get charged for to make an appointment to go get the question answered. And yeah, I've noticed. That's funny you said that because I've never.
Yeah, and you haven't been able to, right? It's like, oh, we can't answer that. Yeah, that's not helpful.
Can he eat this or not? That's all I'm trying to
just tell me, damn it.
What I would also say to you guys that I find really fascinating is, so in the late 90s, it's always dangerous when like a average IQ sort of CEO figures out some accounting gimmick to defraud investors. It's really bad. Like the really, really smart CEOs, they can often do it long enough to where their earnings eventually materialize and no one knows that they were scammers. Yeah. But the ones that aren't so good, they fuck up. And so in the late 90s, what we now call round tripping, which is, you give me an investment dollar, I take that investment dollar and buy your product, your revenue goes up, your earnings go up, your stock goes up, you sell more stock, you take that, you give me another dollar, right? And an investment. So this round tripping became very popular. And then a company called Home Store, which everyone's forgotten about, but was once a very well-known internet company. They were like realtor.com and, Zillow, all that kind of thing rolled into one. Anyway, the SEC and then the DOJ went after them, and like 5 or 6 of their officers spent multiple years in prison for round tripping. Right now, round tripping's been institutionalized. Like, and they say it up front. Hey, NVIDIA's going to give us 100 billion, but they're really only going to give us 1 billion, and we're going to take the 1 billion and go buy NVIDIA chips. And then NVIDIA is going to take that 1 billion we gave them and give it back to us as an investment, and and 100 times, and that's that. I am actually quite surprised the SEC. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but they just are like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, no, that shit needs to be disclosed much more closely than it is.
No. That would be doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We can't have any of that.
So that's
the way of making money.
Will, it's crime season, damn it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I also will say, when it comes to, AGI, the big whatever future, whatever Terminator thingy,
this is the nonchalance with which we talk about the AI apocalypse now.
Yeah. Right. That to me is, as a lifelong investor, yeah, man, you can't tell me you're going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars and the payoff's going to be when you hit this thing that a lot of people aren't sure can ever be reached. That, to me, this is the current story of AI. It's everyone's racing for AGI, which no one knows is even possible. But certainly there's people like Elon who say 2027, 2028, it's going to happen. So I'm a skeptic with all of this money being spent. I look at the way we use AI and I think it's helped us a lot, but it's not transformational. Can
you elaborate on some of the ways that you have used AI in work or?
Yeah, I mean, testing, quality assurance. Yeah. It's good, I would say. Doing a lot of minutia, right? But the idea of not having a very dedicated and experienced developer kind of looking at what is being done would be crazy to me. I don't understand how people can get rid of like all of their developers or a large percentage of their developers. Not yet, anyway. So for boring, repetitive stuff, I think it's good. I will also tell you, whenever, as happened to me today, I was. Do you guys use Expensify?
No, is it good?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No.
I don't
So
know.
Expensify it's probably before your time, but it was like a Web 2.0 online company expense report management tool. Okay.
Sure.
It worked freaking great. You take a picture of your receipt, you upload the receipt, that can do the OCR reading, can say, oh, that looks like a restaurant bill, that's a hotel bill, blah, blah, blah. And,
Wow.
you can send it to HR or whoever for approval. It worked great. Well, somebody in that company decided to AI improve their product, and it's shit now.
Yeah.
You know?
I saw somebody comment on this. Our friend from, oh my gosh, his name is escaping me. Alex, Awaken. It's Andrew from Awaken, right?
Yeah.
I always confuse Andrews and Justins. Andrew from Awaken said,
Lot of
has
Andrews.
anybody noticed that we've got all these vibe coded apps that are just shittier versions of apps that already exist?
That's right.
It's like,
Yes.
dude, yeah.
That is a common thing we talk about, my team and I, how when there's a product we like, and then they say, oh, by the way, there's some new AI element, we all groan
Yeah.
because we know it's going to be shit.
But that's crypto too.
I
Crypto
was just about to say,
largely
like-
was like taking good Web 2 products and adding a Ponzi scheme and reselling it to everybody.
Well, that's
Yes.
like as soon as you have a token do well, it's like there were once Render did well, there were 1 million decentralized cloud computing solutions, and then before Render, there was. I mean,
So
you could pick
true.
1 million examples out of the hat where it's like, oh, that one coin did well. Well,
that was-
would you like 17,000 ones that are total shit?
You remember
Yeah.
Theta?
Yes.
Theta. Like here, let me pitch you on it. All right, imagine YouTube with exponentially fewer videos.
Go on.
You also need to pay a transaction fee every time you want to do something.
Oh,
And you have to buy this fucking token to do it.
Right.
oh.
Right.
Billions.
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 Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe that's why I'm so attuned to it. I see it, and you're using AI for your product. It's going to be shit. Is my view. I want. We still are at a point where when I call someplace and I get a human, I think I'm so happy I got a human.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I called the bank the other day, and it was some like problem with the credit card, and I know a little bit about payments. I thought this is going to require like 7 different departments and different people, and this person I talked to said, let me call all these people and do all these things, and it's like, yes,
Thank
okay,
you.
now maybe in 100 years AI will be able to do that. But I don't think it's going to do it anytime soon.
No.
One of the things that was happening to me a lot the last couple of years, probably because I'm old, is people were calling me up saying, my kid is going to college. My kid is in college. What should they study? And I was unable to give a very satisfying answer other than I like philosophy. I like economics. Those are 2 things I'd probably study.
I was
Everything
genuinely
else-
going to say philosophy at this point. Like if I went back, philosophy.
Philosophy is I've always thought was the absolute best foundational degree as a college student, the best, because it's a challenging degree, right? I mean, especially when you get into logic, and you're learning how to learn. That's good.
Yeah.
Everything
It's
else,
fascinating.
right? Everything else, there's a shelf life on it.
Yeah. And I think that people will continue to run this thing on a loop. Like as AI advances or doesn't, I think people will settle for the same kinds of problems. I would say though, let me push back a little to say I have had some really frustrating experiences with Have you ever called a customer service agent and they don't have any autonomy and they have to read you the script or whatever?
Yeah, of course.
I would absolutely rather, if I'm given the choice between an agent and a human like that, I would rather talk to an agent because I feel like I can game the agent into getting me to talk to a person with agency, or an agent with agency who understands my problems and like eliminates somebody's. I feel like those are what David Graeber would have called bullshit jobs.
Dude,
Mostly,
nothing fills me with more rage than getting
mostly they don't have any autonomy, they don't have any
Nothing.
agency, they don't care, because why would they? And so if AI can get good enough, and I think in some instances that I've experienced, it can. I don't know, but like you said, I would want to know that somewhere down the stack, especially if there was some sensitive information, that somebody with real authority and responsibility and competency was in charge. I think one of my predictions for 2026 is this will be the year that we see the first major corporate crisis from some company who's an insurance provider or a hospital or something, a bank that has gotten, regulatory clearance to do AI for its database or for its money management or whatever, and it's gonna fuck up. And people are going to lose a lot of money, or a lot of data is going to, and it's going to be big, and it's going to be the machine's fault. And I think that'll happen to at least one big company, but maybe
Definitely.
more,
Yeah, definitely. Because there's a lot of pressure to justify the spend, right?
Mhm.
Like the best customer service interaction I've had in the last 3 months was Guitar Center
Bowl and Branch.
Buying new DJ equipment, I'm sure.
buying DJ equipment.
Dude,
I
had
literally, I did the online thing, and then I got a call, but it didn't seem like a scam number.
Yeah.
So I did the roulette. I'll pick it up.
Mhm.
And this guy is like, hey, man. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, so you got those Maui 900 speakers, dude? I'm like, yeah, who is this? Oh, sorry. I'm your guy from Guitar Center. I'm going to be helping you out. I was like, holy shit.
Dude, you think Guitar Center is good? You should try Sweetwater Music. They will leave love letters on your answer machine. Hey, Evan, it's just James, your guy. They are so dedicated, dude.
I'm
It's
so bullish
really-
on legitimately good customer service. Chewy and Bowl and Branch.
Oh, really?
Oh, Chewy is unparalleled, dude. If you need anything,
Yeah, if you need bear food for the bears
Anything.
in Aspen.
we do a lot. We do a lot of work with Chewy because every month they send the rescue a box of returns for free. We get tons of stuff from them. They're incredible. I mean, they still send me. I mean, I have a lot of dogs, and I lose a lot of dogs. They send you a card for every single one. You can always get a person. If anything goes wrong with the order, there's like, you know what? It's free. Don't worry about it. Every single time. Bowl and Branch was the same thing. Yeah. Sheets and towels. You need.
I have such loyalty. I have such loyalty to those companies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, every time somebody calls us for like anything rental related with any of the properties that we manage that they're staying at, spoiler alert, it's only me that's going to answer the phone. No one else is ever going to answer the phone. It's just this guy. And it's always like, we just checked into whatever, and this is and I'm like, okay, yeah. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, okay, which property? Okay, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Or, yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'll fix it. And they're like, what? Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
What do I have to do? I'm like, nothing. Go to bed. You're good. Go to the beach. I don't give a shit. It's done. I fixed it already. Have a good day. Like, oh, okay. Like they had the whole thing prepared. It's like that SNL skit where the woman goes to return the cheese and she's just like, yeah, sure. Here you go. Here's your money. And she's like, wait, I had a whole thing prepared. Do you mind if we fight a little? And they're like, oh yeah, no, sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
You're like,
do you have a
no,
receipt?
You can get out of this trench you dug. We can just do this. I would also like to just say that I can vouch that the executives at Chewy are also phenomenal.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, they're also great. They're IT and cybersecurity group or just security group. They're like good folks.
I love them. We're not sponsored by them. I would be in a heartbeat. I love them so much.
I do hope that companies that actually do have great customer care are able to maintain enough margin that they survive, because I am one of those people. I will definitely pay more if I know
1000%.
when I need to make the call, I'm going to get what I need done.
Oh, I just had that experience today. I put out a tweet, and this has to do with Kraken. I put out a tweet that was like, hey, I finally set up an account on Kraken for the first time. Like after 8 years of being a Coinbase product user, like this might be the last year I use Coinbase. And that was it. And then Kraken support came in, left a comment. We left a couple comments. And I was just like, hey, by the way, you guys want to come on the show? Immediately set a DM, started chatting, told him a little bit about the show. And then he was like, hey, like, who would you want to talk to? And I was like, well, this person and this person would be great. You know, I can send an email and all that stuff. He's like, I just pinged both of them. One of them already said, totally down to come on the show. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then he was like, hey, man, sometimes like we make things really difficult just across our lives. Like it was like a really nice guy. It's like sometimes we make things really difficult across our lives, and it's often people making things difficult for people when we should all just be out here helping one another. And I was just like, this is phenomenal. And I just set up I just put out a tweet, didn't think they were gonna see it, and now I'm just like, I'm gonna use Kraken all the time. I was gonna like slowly drip myself off of Coinbase and like really allow Kraken to like kind of win me over, and now I'm like, I just want to use Kraken.
No, Will, it's because you're beautiful. Let me tell you this. I logged into my Kraken account for the first time in about a year. I mostly use it as like a secondary exchange, not because I don't like it, but mostly I use everything because I teach people stuff. Somebody was like, how do I transfer crypto from my Kraken to my, whatever wallet? I was like, gotcha, no problem. I'm taking my screenshots. I'm going to send myself some USDC. And the transaction fails, and I make sure the app is updated. It's fine. It fails again. I have all these weird, frustrating problems with the authenticator. I have the right number, but it's not registering right, and then sometimes it is, and they're making me do it every time. And finally, I go to the support because it's just not sending, even though I'm doing everything it tells me I need to do. And I'm talking to an AI bot, and the AI bot is helpful, but when it instructs me to look for the transaction receipt and do this, I tell it there's no receipt. Here's a screenshot of the activity history. And it's like, well, can you send me a screenshot of the activity history? And I'm like, yeah, here it is again, and I'm like, can I just speak to a person? And it's like, well, first you need to, so I had the exact opposite experience. I think that maybe I got to tweet at him, or will just do my KYC for me so they think it's you.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do now that I have an in with Bruce, who manages DMs at Kraken support. However,
shout out Bruce.
He told me, he's like, hey brother, make sure you do this quickly because like my shift's up in 5 hours and so you're gonna get someone else after this. And I was like, all right, well Bruce, I appreciate it, man.
Can we send him like a gift card or something? Bruce,
I want to.
Text Bruce back and ask when his next shift is.
I want to DM Kraken support again and be like, hey,
a bonus.
Like, hey, I know this isn't Bruce, and just know you need to step up your game. Whoever this
big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill in.
We'll wait for Bruce.
Okay, Bruce.
So let me ask you this, William. If you had advice to give, it sounds like you would be Sam Altman's speaking coach, but either he's not hiring someone or he's not listening to them. But like for the people who are listening on the other end, what's like the simple solution? Do we vote with our dollars? It doesn't seem like that's very effective because they're going to get paid either way. And how do we, protect ourselves? I imagine it will be catastrophic when things like that happen, because other people's decisions impact our lives, whether it's because our medical data is released, our bank is, compromised or whatever. What are you and your friends talking about? How do we mitigate the risks?
Well, from a financial standpoint, that is a tall order, how you mitigate that risk, because the market cap of the world's stock exchanges is heavily bent towards companies doing a lot in AI. So it's like being in a random token, but thinking you can ignore the price of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin price goes down, no matter how great your token is in doing what it's supposed to do, it's going to collapse in price. So I think from a financial standpoint, though, it's, people should be diversified from the stock market, because this is a pretty big risk that at some point this AI thing won't pan out, and then lots of companies will have to unwind their plans, which will lead to other companies losing all of their revenue. And, fortunately, OpenAI is a private company. So if it fails, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the investors kind of believe in the $500 billion or whatever it is of future purchases OpenAI is intending to do. Maybe they heavily discount that, but I would say be very aware. There's this phrase in investing, the market goes up like kind of a slow moving escalator, but it drops like, a rock off a cliff when it starts. And we've seen this in crypto, right? Like, a month goes by and your crypto is down 75%. So you don't have a lot of time. There's a reason why gold was up, 60 some odd percent the past 12 months. I think it was up because it was increasingly being used as a hedge. So against what could be some catastrophic changes in the financial markets. So I don't have any great answers other than if all of your money is exposed to the stock market, and it's pretty much any stock market, they were all up. The European market was up. All the Asian markets were up this year. U.S. markets were up. So there's a lot of heightened values that could take a big hit. Now, they're not going to go to zero, obviously, because even if AI got wiped out, Google and Microsoft, Amazon are going to be okay. But these things have a weird way of triggering other problems that we weren't paying attention to. And then it all just goes down and it's bleak and bad. Yeah. If you're in the private credit market, though, that's debt issued by non-regulated banks. Everybody knows that, there's a massive amount of private credit being offered that has been offered to a lot of these shaky companies. The people who give the private credit lenders money, it's not obvious who all of they are, right? And so if they took a big loss, we don't know what the follow-on implications would be, but it just makes me nervous. So I try to put my assets in a variety of things, and I would recommend everybody else do the same.
Yeah.
William, on the topic of just kind of market reactions, we have a pretty big potential event on Friday with the Supreme Court likely ruling on their opinion day on whether or not the wide sweeping tariffs are going to be or are legal or illegal. If they're illegal, and I've kind of bounced this idea back and forth of kind of like how the market's going to react, because I can see an argument for bullish, I can see an argument for bearish also, at least initially, just because of uncertainty. But I'm curious to get your thoughts as to how the markets might react to the Supreme Court saying these wide sweeping tariffs are illegal.
Well, here's what I would tell everybody. 6 weeks from Friday, it will be absolutely irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be absolutely irrelevant either way. So unless you're one of these guys who's levered 100 to 1 on the outcome, I don't know what to tell that guy. But there are so many good arguments both ways, right? Trump has vested all of his argument in the fact that the president is allowed to use the regulations, including tariffs, when the country is in danger, when it's at risk. And then the question is, was that really the intent of Congress, that, he could form his own economic policy? Or was this really meant for like when there's a time of war and you've got to ban China from getting a hold of AI chips because they could get a military advantage? And I find it a very hard to decide thing. I do know that Justice Roberts, the Chief Justice, he is very much one of those guys who looks which way the winds are blowing, right?
Which is what you want in a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
He's just like, how are the markets reacting? They're kind of okay with what he's done. Yeah, I just think that's how he does it. So, because there's not a lot of precedent. If I had to bet, I would say they would find most of what he's done okay. And if that's the case, I see the market saying, all right, he's kind of already put him on, taken him off, put him on, taken him off. Trump is a guy who he will give you the 10 best reasons for doing something, and then the next day he'll wake up and he'll just nullify all that and say, yeah, on second thought, no. He has no, shame about reversing decisions. So I think the markets have already kind of digested this stuff. It didn't really have that big of an impact, all said and done. At the beginning of the year, we were down 20%, the S&P 500. In 2025, we finished up 15.5%. It didn't freaking matter. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, but yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with you that I think the 6 weeks is a perfect amount of time where the markets would initially react, let's say go down or do whatever, if they were to go down and then get back up to kind of those general same price figures where everything was.
Can
pretty
you
much
guys
at.
clarify the 6 weeks, because we've had like 2 or 3 comments saying 6 weeks till what?
I'm just saying. So let's say on Friday, right? 6 weeks from the Supreme Court's decision about whether or not President Trump is allowed to use his office to impose tariffs. I just randomly threw out some period of time, more than a month, but probably not 3 months. I think it would take about 6 weeks. That's just a guess. Could be 7, could be 5 for the markets to say, oh yeah, that thing happened. We don't really care. I don't know about you, but I have not felt my life materially diminished as a result of the tariffs. Yeah,
I've noticed my grocery bill be more expensive,
and you think that's because of tariffs?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
don't know either.
I think it's part of it, but also outside of tariffs, you have the entire supply and demand of everything. I mean, beef is largely unaffected by the tariffs because beef has had huge problems with drought and the supply of cattle in the U.S. So that's why beef prices are so high.
It makes it hard to gauge too, because if you take a thing like groceries, right? It's an item of absolute necessity. There is no way that you can cut food from your budget. At some point, it has to enter into the conversation. And so whenever a store, a chain or a franchise or whatever, realizes that like, hey, we just upped prices for XYZ reason, whatever. And guess what? People are still buying food. Why the fuck would we lower it? They won't.
Yeah, I think that's true.
We live in a society driven by an industry of necessity, and there is no reason to drop prices ever, regardless of whether or not there's an economic motivation to do it or not, because we'll keep paying it.
Absent competition, I agree with you. There's why. Look what happened to the automotive industry. Now it bit them in the ass eventually, but they realized they had to. They produced fewer cars because their supply chains were constrained during COVID. They doubled the price of the cars or whatever, charged 50% more. It turned out for them, they made more money with a lower volume, higher priced car. And so post the COVID lockdown nonsense, they didn't really reverse that. And now eventually people started going, wow, these cars are too expensive. And they stopped buying. And that's why a lot of these automobile companies are having problems. But I do think that will be how they would react. You can't tell when the consumers are happy with prices at a high level, unless it's competition, they're not going to go lower.
Yeah, I can't say I'm happy, but it's tough to attribute. I don't study the reports or the data at a granular level. I just know that my budget is getting bigger.
For me, I'm much more tapped into the labor market, just given my job as a supply chain consultant. And I have conversations with VPs and above of some of the largest supply chain organizations in the world. And as soon as tariffs went live, I mean, I have conversations with some of these folks where I'm like, hey, we can do XYZ. And they'll be like, hey, we need to fire people for XYZ reason. Like, and then they look at me and they're like, can you help offset some of that? And where I'm just like, I can. This is a weird conversation, but okay, let's talk about how we can do this. Sometimes that's the conversation, or sometimes it's vaguely masked by like, we need efficiency gain. And I'm like, what kind of efficiency are we talking about here, guys? For other things. But when tariffs went live, it was immediately for about the first 2 months, like, okay, is this real? Is this real? And then when it really became real, they went, okay, maybe we can move manufacturing instead of from China, we can go to Vietnam. Oh, they're looking at that. They're increasing tariffs here. Okay, cool. We do actually have to change this. A number of months went by. It was probably 4 or 5 months went by from Liberation Day where a lot of my clients were like, okay, we actually have to invest in some manufacturing in different places and actually really change our supply chain. Okay, shit. We need to fire a lot of people. And that was honestly the conversations with almost every single one of my clients. And then, it was just like, and some of them already laid people off at the beginning of the year and at the end of the previous year. And they're just like, oh God, like we got to lay people because it's a profit margin standpoint. And so when your profit margins get eaten by taxes, 15 to typically 25% because of the tariffs, then you have to go, okay, what's my biggest expense? Wages. I'm going to cut here amongst other things. So wages are the first thing to get targeted with cutting and firing people. And now all of my clients are in their second or third wave of firings. And right now, almost all of them don't have any more planned. But, they said that the last time to me also. So, we'll see how it goes. But that's it. So in terms of like tariffs impacting my grocery bill and things like that, it feels like things are more expensive and stuff. I look at my bank account from time to time. I'm like, I have less money here than I used to. I feel like, but again, there's so many other things affect prices. But personally, employment definitely being impacted by
yeah.
I mean,
where I have felt it more than anything, COVID, and it remains, is the supply chain of parts for things that I own. And it really, really annoys me. There's just a countless list of things that do not work because they are on back order. And some of these are back ordered for a year. And I still don't have them. So yeah. And I will bring up one, even though I don't even like talking about it because it fucking pisses me off so much. But
go off, King.
Now I need to wait.
So
wait.
Porsche has and I haven't done anything yet. And I finally decided a few days ago, I just like, fuck this. I'm gonna blow this up. I'm gonna go to their Twitter. I'm just gonna say what's going on. So Porsche had they have a car called a Macan, right?
Okay.
And I have this car, this Macan. It's like a small SUV, right? Okay. And I have people who use this car, multiple people who use this car. It's like a utility vehicle for us. And I had 2 keys for that car. One of the keys burned down in the arson fires in LA. It burned in the house. So I have 1 key. So it works, but I have 1 key. So I went a year ago and said, I need another key. They said, no problem, the dealer. We'll go get it from Porsche. 1 year later, still don't have it. In that 1 year, maybe 20 interactions have taken place between me and the Porsche dealer, right? And they show me all this stuff. So they eventually, because I say, guys, I'm going to have to do something about this, right? Talk to the state and figure out why you guys aren't doing what you're doing. Here is what they have told me. They told me that the company that made those keys, so that would be a subcontractor for Porsche, for that Macan, went out of business. It either went out of business or didn't want to do it anymore. So Porsche doesn't have an ability to create keys for like that year of Macan. And I think I now know what they're going to do, because the Porsche dealer told me there are like 10 of their cars that don't have any key that have just been turned into bricks, right? I guess you can't. I guess it would be, you'd have to change the whole engine or something, right? With these keys. So I think Porsche's decided it would be better for them just to get sued every once in a while by somebody, but they bricked a year's worth of cars. That's dude, is this not just mind-boggling?
That's terrible.
I have to say,
I love that story though.
I agree with the comment over here on TikTok. Yeah, dude, I hate that. That's exactly why I didn't buy a Porsche. It's not because I couldn't afford it.
Not because I couldn't afford it.
You know, though, like, I have to say, I can annoyingly share in your key frustration, because I've been arguing with Volvo about keys as well, because this is not because I lost it in a fire or anything. That I'm just an idiot, and I lost one because I'm an idiot. I want you to get. I haven't made you guys guess a number in a minute. Do you know how much it costs to buy a new key fob for a Volvo?
Oh,
$1,200.
Ooh,
damn, I was gonna say 5.
I was gonna say 800.
Yeah,
How
it's $780.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think my Porsche key's like $1,000.
Yeah, that's not okay.
So, but I've decided, and I'm a businessman, but I've decided the notion you can take like $100,000 vehicle and brick it because you, the manufacturer, decided, I just don't want to make keys for this because it's inconvenient, right? So I'll keep you guys abreast over the next year what's going to happen. To me, it's
I'm
at this
invested
point,
now.
it's more like it's like it's a pet project, I guess. Now I'm going to be like
Pet rock project.
right.
Pet brick.
Hey, you put it in neutral down the hill.
There's got to be, I assume, maybe a few thousand people in America who just their cars turn to bricks.
You could. Here's the thing. Here's the pitch for you. Okay.
Okay.
Everyone's always asking, are NFTs going to come back? And
Yep.
so here's what you do. You're already in Miami. You've already got a DJ set. Consensus is coming up. You call every Porsche owner you know, or you threaten the dealership and get them to give you the information, or just, fool their GPT assistant to give it to you. You make them a lowball offer for their Porsches. You write it off as a business expense. You have them towed to your DJ set in Miami and have all the NFT collections spray paint their JPEGs on it. And everybody tweets about it and says the art is so dope. And that's how you get your return on investment there. There you go.
Maybe
Nailed it.
we will see.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know.
That was so niche.
yeah,
It's perfect.
So niche.
it's such a weird thing. I know it's such a weird thing, but
Okay,
problem.
let me say to the audience first, you might have noticed the screen change colors when we sensed a rant coming. We have a new tradition since you've been here, William. We want to get a graphic for the saltometer because, like you just did, Alex is often the one who gets like on a rant and just
I will absolutely die on this.
goes off. And so we turn the screen red and we ask everyone to rate it on the saltometer. So let us know what your saltometer was. Graphic coming soon, 1 to 10. How was the rant? And you get at least 2 points for that. If you have a question, a suggestion that we didn't get to, I'm so sorry. The comments are just coming right through. There are a lot of good questions. We may not get to them tonight, but you can ask them always where the show lives 24/7. I'm talking about community.rumshq.com. And we know how to get a hold of William. If you have a question or you know a guy who can make a replacement key for a Porsche Macan, then I'm sure he would be glad to hear from you. We do have a couple more minutes before we pick a winner, but I want to remind you that we are going to do a giveaway too for somebody in the audience and one of the premium members tonight. We will give you an Arculus wallet. You can have the regular Arculus. You can have the XRP branded Arculus, or you can have your name on the list for a Rise Up co-branded purple wallet. If you need cold storage, it's a great option to consider.
Have you
We love what
guys,
they
by
do.
the way,
Yeah.
are you guys all using ledgers?
I use
No.
a Ledger, but I also use an Arculus and have used others. The
I have a
use is
Ledger
the
and
main-
I have an Arculus.
What's your
Really?
take?
I'm getting very fucking nervous. Is my take.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting nervous. Like
Yeah, with more and
I've
more.
got a
just,
lot,
like,
a lot of money in those things, and my team. The other day, they were like, "Hey, just want only people in crypto understand the absolute terror you feel when somebody says, "Hey, our wallets." It's yes. That absolute panic, and it's like, yeah, they're not syncing. What is the web? Yeah, web is okay, but not mobile. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm getting very nervous without Ledger.
So are you hip to Arculus? Do you know their product?
No.
Okay,
no.
so it's a card, and it's got an NFC chip in it that creates a secure connection. Your private key is generated on the card, stays on the
Okay.
card. You tap it to your device. They are kind of like them. I'm surprised that Tangem is maybe more popular, but Tangem is very opinionated about self-custody, and their opinion is we would prefer not to give you your seed phrase. Obviously, I'm sure you want your seed phrase,
Yeah.
maybe even to
Yeah.
do a multi-sig or something. Arculus, you get the seed, nobody else gets it, and they secure it with like a 3-factor authentication. It's biometric,
Okay.
it's a PIN, and of course, it's your seed phrase. So something you are, something you have, something you know. And I want to do a series on Arculus specifically because there's no firmware. There's no updates to the software except they use a companion app. And of course, even if they go out of business, you can just take your happy business anywhere there's a validator and, show them your private keys and get the job done.
That's good.
Can I just say, it's so nice that there aren't firmware updates.
Dude.
Like, firmware updates on ledgers made me so nervous. For
And
so
the hardware updates.
It just makes me nervous. I'm like, something could go wrong here.
Something could go wrong.
Yeah,
and there's so much
that's my
surface area.
biggest anxiety with it. And honestly, I've been kind of just like putting things as I go and I move things kind of slowly.
I have been a Ledger user for years,
Arculus.
but I met the team for the first time in Buenos Aires at DevConnect. And I have got to say, I told this story on air and I did not dox them, but now I'm going to do it. The display wallets, and I get it. You're at a conference. You've probably been tooling these around in your briefcase, show to show to show, whatever. But like, you need them to work. And I was asking him about their touchscreen device because I had seen them, but I had not used one. They're small, and we have a lot of people in our audience who are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, and maybe their hands have tremors or their eyes aren't good. And I wanted to see, would this be a good wallet for someone like that? And, the screen was not responsive. It was glitching out. It was bugging out. And it was like several different devices were like that. And I was like, is it usually like this? And he's like, well, let me just reset it. And I was like, I don't want to be in that situation. I just don't want to be in it.
We bought hundreds of ledgers, over the years. I would say 40% of the time they are dead on arrival.
Really? Damn.
Yes, 40% of the time. And God forbid if they sit in a safe deposit box for a couple of years, we're all sitting there going, well, let's see if this works. Nope, doesn't work. I'm just over it.
Seriously,
I've never heard anyone mention that before, but that is
they're so often DOA.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. It's like I can't believe I'm doing this, but like I've started telling people. So the state of California just have passed. I don't know if it's passed it, but there's this. There's a. In California, it's in all states, but I'm from California. If your bank account is dormant, and dormant is a defined term, but dormant for 36 months, the bank is ordered to, the technical term is escheat, ESCHEAT, escheat the funds to a trust account run by the state. So what they decided recently, I'm pretty sure they decided it, or it's being considered by Newsom, is to add crypto exchanges to that. And the reason that is bothersome for a lot of people is, you don't have a lot of reason. It's kind of a set it and forget it asset. So it wouldn't be unusual to keep your thing in an exchange for 5 years and never do anything with it. Well, now that would likely have been escheated. And so I've had a lot of people say to me, well, now I don't want it in an exchange, which I get. And I have to send it to a wallet. Which wallet? And I've been telling them, guys, I used to always use the ledger, but now I get so creeped out with the ledger. You might be better off just buying an ETF. I'm starting to feel like, ETFs might be a better way to go. Like, you don't have to worry about holding it. It pretty much moves in the same way. And, it's your stock account.
Well, I always tell people, I'm like, hey, if you just want to have access to price go up and down, or ideally up in the case of an ETF, and you don't necessarily want to take on the responsibilities of managing your wallet and your keys and making sure you're doing it correctly, go to an ETF. There's also some tax advantages there for you. Like, go for it. Oh, you want to give your Bitcoin to your children and your grandchildren, and you don't know how responsible they're going to be with it? ETF. Go buy Bitcoin through the ETF. That is the perfect product for you. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought I'd say that.
I made a video about the Ashit thing a while ago, and Alex, I know you were addressing. There's a lot of misinformation about what it
So
is and
much.
what it isn't. And,
Almost exclusively misinformation.
And
Is that right?
I understand it not to be as big of a, and I'm not questioning your knowledge on it necessarily. I don't know how informed you are about it, and I don't remember what the thing was. I just remember researching it and being like, oh, people are making it sound like everyone is going to have their assets seized. And that's not
because that's
necessarily
how
the
it was
case.
told to us. There was a new like law in that category put on the books in whatever state, and it immediately got circulated as the only place that this existed and a ploy to steal from you.
Right.
And I'm not saying that I agree with the practice, okay?
No.
But it is worth noting, like you said, William, that these laws are on the books in a whole bunch of different states, and there's different time constraints, and there's different parameters around what constitutes dormancy and how much and in what capacity. And what was really interesting about the whole thing was that with regards to crypto, I think it was California was the most recent like update to this whole thing. It was one of the few that was on the books, and someone fact check me, Bearded, if you're listening.
Well, we've got property lawyer, our friend Jillian, in the comments,
perfect.
and she says it's last resort, but I'm sure she can give a further comment. Ashit is in every state.
But
And somebody said 3 years of inactivity.
with regards to crypto specifically, not every state liquidates it. Sometimes they just keep it in the asset, and that depends on the state, and I don't know which state does
think
which.
California was proposing
California
to keep
holds
it
it in the crypto.
Yeah.
It holds it in the asset.
Yeah,
is
and
California.
that was why I
But
thought
still,
it was
you got to
funny.
go through all this rigmarole. You know?
Yeah.
Can I? Well, I will say this to you guys though. I used to be a bank auditor, so it was one of the things we would audit.
Yeah.
And having had countless things escheated to the state, it was easier to collect that money from the state of California than it was to get someone to pay me back for whatever they
Or to
owed
get
me.
your
for a
Porsche
bet.
key.
Yeah.
It's
to turn your ledger back on.
I forget his name, but about 20 years ago, the state controller put it online. And so in state of California, it's like the escheatment database, whatever. It was like so simple what I had to send. And then 2 weeks later, got a check in the mail, right? So it's actually not the worst thing. What would be bad, of course, is if they took it and then they sold it
Yes.
and you didn't want them to sell it. I get
awful.
that. But what it really means is don't keep your shit on an exchange, even though, you're probably better off keeping it on exchange than keeping it yourself if you're a typical guy and you don't pay attention to passwords and all that.
Well, and we always say too, like, it really depends on the person. I do not agree with the fear mongering of like, quick, get out of the exchange right this second.
Right.
Because it instills a feeling of panic, and then you make the wrong decision, and then you click on the wrong thing, and you don't take the time to figure the whole thing out. But I do think that everybody who is touching crypto needs to, like, at some point, you're going to get to a crossroads where you're like, okay, if I keep buying, I'm going to have a lot of money in this, whatever a lot is to you in your situation. There's no right answer.
Right.
At
That's
that point,
true.
it's time to stop and learn self-custody and have it as an option in your tool belt. When you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm extremely uneasy having this much in this place with this account on this exchange, given what just happened over here or over there or whatever.
Yeah.
So, recognize the crossroad and learn the skill for sure.
William, do you want us to? We've got a bunch of these wallets because we're Arculus is a partner of the show now, and we'd be glad to send you one. I'd be glad to get with
I
Shirley.
would love to try it.
It's a great user experience. I think it's very principled. Like Dr. Adam Lowe, he's the founder. He's very available. You'd like what he does. He goes to Consensus. They always have a big booth there. And he always hands it out to his friends who are hackers and says, okay, like, is this going to be the year? Can you do it this year? Will you do it? Will you get my private key? Good luck. I want to do a series on it where to teach people about your key and how it's different than the device. Your crypto doesn't live here. It's your key. I want to do a series where like, I have $1 million on this wallet and I'm throwing it in the blender and I'm not worried about it because this wallet is not my crypto, or I'm going to throw it in a volcano or I'm going to run it over my car or whatever, but we'll send you one.
Evan.
Thank you. I mean, you had me at no updates. That's what I hate about ledgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part's really nice.
Yeah.
I just realized, Evan, this is a true story, by the way. I was just telling Christina this earlier when she was asking if anyone was joining us tonight. And I said that, of course, it was DJ William Quigley. So true story. The very first crypto conference I ever went to was the North American Bitcoin Conference in 2022. Yeah, 22.
I don't know,
21?
21.
Wow,
It was a
I went
while
to the
ago.
Bitcoin conference
It was in
before you
Miami
did.
and it was Bitcoin.
Yeah, and William was speaking that year, and I just remember sitting there. I took a bunch of notes. I still have the notes, and I just remember thinking there was some really interesting insights, and I was like, that would be really cool to talk to that person. I didn't really know anything about crypto at the time. It was like my first time at a conference. I was like, okay, this one's cool. It's close by. I don't have to travel that far to get to it. Somehow, Matt got me a ticket to it because he had enough followers to get media passes. And, anyway, now I'm just sitting here steeping myself in the knowledge that before too long, that person that I saw on stage at this conference not only has been on the show a handful of times and whatever, but is about to have a hardware wallet with my face on it. Because obviously we're sending you a purple one.
Yeah, we got to send you the purple wallet when it's ready.
I love it. I love it. Yeah,
That is a full circle.
that is.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I've always loved the North American Bitcoin conference. It was one of the original ones.
You know,
That was a fun one.
I feel like that was my first like big gathering of crypto too.
Mhm.
And I
It was
remember
great.
feeling, the Miami vibe was great. Everybody
Yep.
who was there, it seemed like people who had been going for a while were surprised that there were so many that year, like multi-chain people, not just Bitcoiners. And
Yeah,
that
got
seems like
rebranded.
a tension thing, right?
It got rebranded after that. It was only TNABC for one more year, and then they changed it to Quantum, and no one showed up. Granted, it was deep bear in 23.
Right.
I was there again with Mac, and there was like 8 people there. It was honestly awesome because we were like in a supply closet. The conference center was like, we didn't have access to all the other rooms. We were like in the hallway outside of one of actually the stage where I saw you, William. But we didn't get the big room. We just got the hallway, and there was like a few card tables out there. It was really funny, but everyone there was like so diehard. It was cool.
that was what was always good about the
Yeah.
dark years was the people who were at those conferences were great people. They were really the diehard people.
Still have some of those friends to this very day that I made
I
in
mean,
that
for-
particular one.
2014, this is where the Ethereum boys were hawking their crowd sale for
Isn't that
30
wild?
cents, 30 cents an ETH.
Can you imagine?
Damn.
Yeah.
I remember getting like skeeved out by the crowd because I went to the Bitcoin, was it 2020 conference in Miami, I think it was. And that was the first one I went to. And I remember talking to folks about like what I was excited about in the space, which is a lot of like altcoin stuff being built. And it was just like every person was just the most toxic Bitcoin maxi. And then I just stopped telling people I was interested in like anything, any kind of decentralized application in the space. 'Cause it was just like, oh, you're interested in,
Oh my God.
And I was just like, fuck all of these people. Honestly, I walked out of that conference and I was like, fuck these crypto people. These people suck.
This was awful.
It was awful.
You would be right. Yeah, the Bitcoin maxis are just a special group. It's such a weird thing.
Maxis in general. We left that Cardano party, Evan, in whatever year that was, and I think me, you, and Mac all looked at each other and we're just like, we're all selling everything, right? Like that was the worst experience of my life.
Have we told you? We might have told you about this, William, but it was like one room, second story, slow elevator, kept breaking.
The
too
only
hot,
way in
too
was the
stuffy.
elevator. There were no stairs. It was
Music
only
was
an
too
elevator.
loud.
Perfect
The
for
people were too
fires.
obnoxious. It was just the wrong place, the wrong vibe. There was nothing good. There was nothing good there. I could have
Evan,
taken all the
bad
Cardano out of their
vibes.
wallets.
There was one guy in the
Right.
middle of the room with a megaphone, and he screamed at people for the entire event. The last half was just us trying to get back in the elevator to get out of there.
Yeah, we waited like 30 minutes to get in this elevator.
It
And I
doesn't
was-
Fire
surprise
hazard.
me. It doesn't surprise me. The Cardano people are also a special group.
It was awful.
a special.
Although my barber is included in that group. He's also an interesting person. he's a snack maxi. Cardano and
Oh my
snack.
gosh. Okay,
Can
all
you
right.
imagine?
It's
I
almost that
can.
time.
I talked to him.
We've done it again, you guys. We've just squandered 2 wonderful hours with William, and we've got to let him go. But I would love to know if we can do a round of final thoughts. Maybe we can get some of your other just rapid fire predictions for the year or any parting thoughts. And before we do, maybe you will help us to pick somebody. Maybe you'll give me a number, William. I'm going to need a number in a second between 1 and 42. And then somebody in the comments, if you need cold storage tonight, please do leave a comment. Or if you need cold storage for your mother or you lost your other Oculus wallet when you locked it in your Porsche and now you don't have the key, then let us know. Whatever your story is, I'm sure it's a good one. And we'll pick somebody from the community too. And if you've got a question, I'll say it one more time, that did not get answered, something you want to ask us, William, let us know. The best place to get a hold of us is, in fact, the community. I'm talking about community.rums, rumshq.com. It's where the show lives 24/7, and we would love to see you there. While I'm waiting for the comments to roll in, and before I ask William to pick a number, just rapid fire questions. Yes or no is good. Do you guys hold any precious metals? William, you first.
I mean, not physically, but ETFs.
Do you do any on-chain metals like the
No.
Tether gold or the Paxos?
No.
Is there a reason?
I don't need to. I have access to it. I don't. I just don't feel the need to have tokenized commodities. But if I wasn't a U.S. citizen and I was in a place where banking was sketchy, sure, I would do that.
Yeah. Do you guys hold metals?
I do not.
Alex says no.
It's hard for me to go and pay attention to as many markets as are out there to play in. And I pay attention because this is what I've done is I'll pay attention to stocks and I'll go and play in stocks, but I want to take some bigger money and I have more monmoney playing in the crypto space. So I'll take the money, put it in my bank account, go put it over in my Fidelity. And now, thanks to Kraken, I'll just keep it in one place. But, I used to do that and I used to move things around and I'd wait for setups and I'd, make a profitable trade in the stock market. And I'd get like 4 to 8% and go, cool, great, awesome. Got a great little trade. But then I look at crypto and go, oh no, there was another opportunity in crypto. And I'll rush trying to get my money back through that system. And now I'm like on Coinbase and I missed the opportunity and it was 25%. And I'm just like, I should have just been waiting. So now, because I invest and I trade, and I only have so much bandwidth to pay attention to specific markets, and because the opportunity to make money can be so fast in crypto, I say, hey, I'll just pay attention to these markets, and that's kind of what I do. And then I get my stable coins and I earn interest and buy Bitcoin, and that's great. And eventually, I have an idea in my head as to how much money I'll have, and then I'll go, okay, cool. Now, get into real estate and let's get just some standard S&P over here and a couple stocks that I like, and buy Alex a boat and then sink it for fun.
I accept.
It'll be a Lego boat.
Whatever. I'll take what I can get.
Little Lego boat. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We've got a lot of good comments coming in from folks who are interested in cold storage. We have several folks who said this is great tonight. When is William coming back? Let's do this again, but with fishing poles and beer. Okay, we can make that work. Maybe we'll figure it out. And lots of comments about people who need a wallet. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. William, will you please pick a number between 1 and 72?
16.
16.
Strong, confident guess.
That was a... Congratulations to Just Some Broad. That is the winner from the Rise Up community. Just Some Broad, send me a message. And from all the people who submitted comments across YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, etc. in the arena, I see you out there, we have one traveler for life. So one traveler for life. Congratulations. Just Some Broad, congratulations. You've won a wallet tonight. And in a minute, we're going to do final thoughts. But first, I have to give you the points totals for this evening. Because I said if we reached an arbitrary number, and we must have, I would give some wallets away. So the points as they stand: in last place with 2 gwumps, it's a tie. Expensive keys, bad customer service, and Cardano. So sorry. Thank you for playing. Try again next time. Also with negative points, 1 gwump. Ledger tonight. Sorry about it. We've got Theta tying them for 1 gwump. Sorry about that. Blast from the past.
Forgot about that.
I think most people forgot about Theta. Several people have 1 point. We've got Actually Good Customer Service, and Bruce at Kraken with 2 points for his Actually Good Customer Service.
Bruce. Bullish on Bruce.
William,
get Bruce on the show, dude.
I want Bruce on the show, man. I have to figure out when he's back on his shift.
I know.
Kraken support.
Just text Kraken support every couple hours.
Every Bruce? 8 hours.
This Bruce?
Bruce? Just like more question marks each time.
Eventually, it's going to be like, Will.
I'm like, Bruce, brother.
Okay, in third place, it's a tie. It is me and Will Watson. P.S. Will, I noticed that you've got Will Watson the fourth on your.
I know, you dork.
I was like, dude, it wasn't enough to show up in your beautiful glasses. He's also the fourth, so I'm giving you actually a half point just to elevate you to a true third place.
That's why.
Which means that tonight, in second place, with 5 points and 1 gwump, it's Alex Popovich. William Quigley, once again, he's the runaway winner. Congratulations. 7 points, another championship. And we just can't tell you how much we appreciate you. Everybody always loves when you make time to come on the show. And so
Thank you.
We will send you all the clips. We'll send you the links. And we'll have you back again soon. But first, would you mind giving us, maybe for a final thought, anything we didn't cover, or if you've got some predictions for 2026, maybe a Bitcoin price prediction again, since we all blew it. What do you got?
Yeah. So stuff that I've been thinking about. Apple will do a big acquisition this year, I think.
Okay.
Ideally, they would acquire Disney. I think that could happen under a Trump administration, where they've been a lot of the prior administrations were very anti-competitive, but with Larry Ellison, buying up all these different studios, I think, let's face it, the movie studio era is over. It's all technology and platform. So I could see that happening. And Apple never really did anything with Apple TV. They needed content play. I think this runaway success with the weight loss drugs is going to continue as those things drop in price. And I think there's, I don't know, a 1/3 chance that the most valuable company on earth will wind up being one of those companies, maybe like an Eli Lilly that does Manjaro. I could see that happening because I think a lot of the planet will be, because we poison them with shitty food, a lot of the planet will be on those medications, which will do a ton for our social welfare costs that are very high because of obesity. I think we will have many more interest rate cuts. I know the consensus, I think, is 2. So I'm going to say there'll be 4. I believe like 55% of that or something, but I think there'll be more than 2. And when it comes to Bitcoin, Ethereum, I mean, where Bitcoin goes, so does all crypto, right? I'm gonna say that things will happen that will cause it to skyrocket in 2026.
Okay.
So
good prediction.
maybe 160,000, something like that.
Writing it down.
So that's and then other cryptos should follow suit, right? Because they're also correlated. So those are things I'm thinking of. I also think Greenland will become a 52nd state, and
we
Canada
had a lot of
will be
comments
a
about
51st
Greenland.
state.
Canada?
I'm joking.
No.
I'm joking.
Just let that risk board keep playing out, baby.
Right.
Everyone knows you have to get Greenland so that you can stop attacks from Europe into North
It's
America.
so true. I always wanted Greenland, right? With risk. You're right.
Yeah, but I do think there will be at some point this year I forget, there's a name for the agreement, the type of agreement that would make the most sense. But yeah, I do think there'll be some kind of agreement of some type between Greenland and the United States before the end of this year.
I think that's better than
I think it's definitely going to happen.
even odds that'll happen.
Yeah. We've got from our friend Joe in the comments, and we've got a prediction from Black XXOR in 2026. Okay, what about you guys? Final thoughts, Alex and Will?
My final thought is Eric Ginting's comment. You guys want to have Greenland to make super Bitcoin mining island. Like, it's cold. It's got water to cool it. Cold water.
Trump would call it that.
Mining island. Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
No, he would call it the Trump super Bitcoin mining island.
Kennedy
he was just
Center,
called
Trump, Bitcoin mining
the
island.
Trump Kennedy Center Bitcoin mining super island
Oh my gosh. Okay, Alex.
plus oil.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna rug Evan.
He's already
Long time.
rugged. He's frozen.
I was gonna say Evan looks rug.
He looks super happy right now.
He really
We're
does.
gonna have to take that screenshot.
I have a feeling that TikTok just lost our audio.
Oh, TikTok totally lost our audio.
Did they?
Did Evan
confirm.
freeze?
Oh,
The
yep.
live is paused. The live is paused on TikTok.
Well, then I guess I'll say goodbye, you folks.
All right. Hey, it was a ton. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Evan is back
he's back.
on TikTok. Oh, there it is.
Okay. All right.
I was
Evan.
worried I rugged the whole show. Tell me, catch me up later.
I thought you did too.
We were just making fun of you.
Well, perfect timing, Evan, because I am gonna rug you to say that we did miss 1 or 2 After Darks in the past month, so I think we have to. I'm gonna make my final thought. Make you give away one more wallet to the
right.
audience. So I think you need to pick someone else from the audience and do another one.
Okay, Mr. William Quigley, will you pick one more number between 1 and 72, and you cannot pick 16. Go to my comments. over here.
54.
54. Okay. 54. Congratulations to the Geo. G-H-E-O. That is winner number 1. I hope I said your name right. Please send me a message. Cold storage can be yours, and that means that winner number 2 is... Hang on, wait. I got to refresh this page because
I thought you froze again, and I was like,
I know,
gosh.
no. I'm so sorry. Winner number 2 is, in fact, Kevin Funk. The Funkmeister, Kevin Funk. Send me a message, Kevin Funk, and the Jahio, and Alex's vengeance will be satisfied. Rugging me of final thoughts all the time. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Alex, for giving away more Oculus wallets. That's always a good thing to do. I appreciate it. Do you have
We
a
missed
real
a few
final
weeks,
thought?
so that was my final thought. Give away.
No,
give
those
away my
dogs are
wallets.
giving the final thought. I
Dude,
hear it.
His
they
dogs
are.
are barking. My dogs are barking too.
My mother-in-law just walked in the door, so they're losing their shit.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, then let's say our good nights here. We will ride our cats and cows into the sunrise. Thank you again, William, for making time to join us. Thank you, everyone, for being the very best part of what we do. And we will be back right here tomorrow
Fun.
for more Rise Up Morning Show, and we'll see you then. Until then, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Have a
Nice
good
out.
night. See you.